Om Bhajagovindam chanting verses 21 to 25.
Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Iha samsare bahudustare, kripaya pare pahi murare. रथ्याचर्पट विरचित गन्धः पुण्या पुण्य विवर्जित पन्थः योगी योग नियोजित चित्तो रमते बालोन्मत्तवदेव कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुतायातः कामे जननी को मे तातः इति परिभावय सर्वमसारं विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम् त्वयि मयि चान्यत्रैको विष्णुः व्यर्थं कुप्यसि मय्यसहिष्णुः भवसमचित्तः सर्वत्र त्वं वाञ्छस्य चिराद्यदि विष्णुत्वम् शत्रौ मित्रे पुत्रे बन्धौ मा कुरु यत्नं विग्रहसन्धौ सर्वस्मिन्नपि पश्यात्मानं सर्वत्रोत्सृज भेदाज्ञानम्
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करमावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. This idea of reincarnation is not a belief, it's a theory. As any theory, this theory is also based on certain observed facts and established principles. That's how any theory gets developed. The theory gains its validity based on these two parameters. Number of assumptions it takes to the things that it explains. How many problems are getting a solution based on this theory, but the theory has certain assumptions. Without a hypothesis, certain assumptions, you can never develop a theory. And just because it's a theory doesn't mean it has no validity, please. Science as a body of knowledge, if you take, it contains perhaps about 10% of science would be laws. 90% of science is only theories. But we still consider that as science alone. We don't dismiss it just because it is a theory. A theory is not just a proclamation. Remember, it's not just a bare assertion without any proper reasoning behind it. There is a reasoning. What is that? Reasoning should have these two things. It should have, number one, a law, then observed facts, then it resolves certain things, certain problems, it gives a solution, it gives certain explanations. Solutions in the sense it is able to explain something which is not possible with the principle, not possible in the bare observation. So there, if you take, there are so many aspects comes into picture. There, these are two things we take. There is life, there is rebirth, we say. Correct. How do we say that, sir? On certain observations. What is observation? On one side, you have an observation where people having so many thoughts, so many desires suddenly disappear. And on the other side, you observe there are so many kids were born with certain qualities in them. So how will you be able to explain this too? The theory says what is apparently disappeared here has reappeared there. That's all. What is the law behind it, sir? There is a law established by science. It's the law of indestructibility of energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. This is the fundamental principle established by science. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy can only be modified from one form to another form. So, based on these two factors, these people arrive at the conclusion that what is apparently disappeared here has reappeared here. So, just a simple auditing of accounts of life. What is missing there is here. So, there is nothing being lost. Otherwise, it is difficult for us to give an explanation. Okay, to some extent, law of heredity will give an explanation for the appearance of certain qualities. But how are you going to account for the disappearance? There is a wanting of that heredity concept. Heredity explains only one part of it. Another part of it is not explained by that. So, these people who go by this idea, there is birth after birth after birth, we come back. What are these? This is the theory of reincarnation. Remember, it's a theory. You don't try to give proof for this theory. If you give a proof to a theory, it becomes a law. It no longer stands as a theory. It's a theory. And just because it is theory doesn't mean it has no validity, please. It's not a bare assertion. There is a principle behind it. And it explains so many things. There are so many dimensions of life you cannot explain without subscribing to this theory. So, the strength of a theory is judged based on these factors. Number of assumptions too, like we see, Darwin's theory of evolution, why the science world has accepted it as a very strong theory. Today we believe that's actual fact, isn't it? It's a theory proposed by Darwin, but today we accept it as a truth. Why? How did we do that? Because no other contrary theory could be propounded, could be given out. 1. 2. Any other theories being given out is not solving the number of problems as Darwin's theory could solve. Therefore, this is a strong. Remember, in science, there is no right theory and wrong theory. In science, theory means either a strong theory or weak theory. Like, you wake up in the morning, you come outside, you see what? The street is wet. What is your theory? It must have rained. Correct. You take a walk. Oh, must have rained. You go for a walk. You go to the next street, it's dry. You take a left and come outside, it's dry. Now what do you think? Now how can be rain come only to my street? Then what do you understand? Maybe some leakage or water tank must have crossed. It must have been, not been maintained properly, so it has wet the whole street. Possible. Suddenly I add one more factor. Street is wet and you get a foul smell. Now what do you say? Rain. You say what? No. I think, some drainage must have broken. Now you don't call rain. You see that? This is how a theory is developed. This is called a theory. When you say it must have rained, is it assumption, sir? It's not assumption. It is based on the observed things. You observe certain things and give an explanation to something. Now, the number of things that you are able to explain with some assumptions. How is it, sir? This is called, to an event, you need an explanation with number of assumptions you are able to assume, number of hypotheses. Certain hypotheses you take and you assume, you give an explanation. Now, if you challenge the hypothesis, no theory will stand hold. Remember, this Big Bang theory, relativity theory, this Darwin's theory of evolution, all those theories have certain hypotheses. You challenge the hypothesis, the theory will go out of window. You cannot. So every theory gets certain observations and it has certain principle or a law, established law. Established law means generalizations. Generalization, that is called a law. In all cases, in all observed cases, this is what is happening. You say that's called a law. Then you have certain assumptions, certain hypotheses. Based on that, you arrive at certain conclusions. Those conclusions should be able to explain the things which you cannot explain without that. How many things it can explain, sir? There are so many aspects, so many questions in life. You can explain only if you come to the conclusion that there is multiple births. Otherwise, you have to, digest, gulp in so many things that is happening in life. One of the things we say is, what is the theory, sir? What all the things is explaining, we will see separately. That's not what I want to explain right now, because I have to explain you the problem first. Now, what is the theory? First, understand what the theory says. Please understand, reincarnation is a theory first, for which you should have an idea of what is a theory. And how do you evaluate a theory? In theory, don't say, is it a right theory or a wrong theory, sir? Theory means strong theory or weak theory, not right and wrong. In theorems, in theories, in theories, there is no right and wrong. Strong and weak. Now, which is a strong theory? I take 3 hypotheses, explain 4. Hypotheses are 3, explanation is 4. There is another theory which takes 5 hypotheses, gives explanation to 7. 5 hypotheses, 7 things are getting explained. We say the first theory is stronger. Even though it is explaining only few things, it takes in few hypotheses. These are all theoretical study. Okay. Strictly speaking, Vedanta study means we study these things. This is how Vedanta study should be done. Actually speaking, what is this theory? What is the theory of reincarnation states? It states based on these two things: observations and established law. What is a law? Law of indestructibility of energy. If you consider thought to be energy, a desire is a thought. Icha Shakti, we say, right? If it is Icha Shakti, it's an energy. And here is a man who lives with so much of desires. Suddenly he dies. Say, what happened to all those desires? Disappeared. There's an abrupt ending to it, isn't it? Now, how can you say suddenly all that is disappeared? Same way, you see on the other side, there is a sudden appearance from nowhere. Both the parents have no clue of music. Mahalingam, flute, maestro, T.R. Mahalingam's parents, no clue about music. But a prodigy like T.R. Mahalingam takes birth for them. You can't say heredity. Through heredity, you don't get it. If that is the case, what is the IQ level of Einstein's father? What is the IQ level of Einstein's daughter? Now remember, this attitudes and aptitudes of life don't come through heredity. That body produced this body. Therefore, certain things will get transmitted from that body to this body. That's all. Even this so-called, people have this popular belief that if my mother were to have, diabetes, I will also get. They say no. It's not true. It's a very popular belief. It's just because of it's because of what? It comes because of your lifestyle. It's not heredity. Of course, certain things will get transmitted. What gets transmitted is only the bodily things. This intelligence and desires and aptitudes and nature doesn't get transferred. That doesn't get transferred. But we do see something getting transferred, like that is because of what? Because of a child learns through observation. A child constantly observes the father, mother, or somebody. He goes on observing. Over a period of time, he starts appearing like that. I've seen people moving from India to US. He shifts to US. Hey, where you are? I've got a job in States. Where you are going? Say, America. He'll say, okay. He goes to US, settles there for about 3-4 years. He comes back. When he comes back, you ask him, where are you from? He says, America. When he is here, he says America. When he is coming back from there, he says America. Now, why is that, sir? That's the learning process. What you hear the same thing, you get it. That's all. It has nothing to do with. So the child appearing like father, mother, I've seen, every baby born. I go to, places, they show the child, and bring the child. Does he look like father or mother? I couldn't see both actually. But they say, exactly like his grandfather has come again, his father come again. Of course, there are some places you can distinctly see that features. Why? It's all physical, please. Now, we are not discussing physical, remember. The moment you say, I am coming into spirituality, religion, both are same. Remember this. I will not go on repeating it. It's the same thing. There is no difference between religion and spirituality. It's the same. The moment you start the discussion on spiritual religion, first thing we keep aside is body. Anything connected to body, we keep it aside. We don't equate it at all. There is no discussion about your body here. That means wherever there is a discussion about body, that has got nothing to do with religion. That has got nothing to do with spirituality. Contrary also true here. I repeat. In spirituality, the discussion starts from your mind and intellect, your subtle body. In spiritual, we do not discuss about your gross body, your physical body. Wherever there is a discussion happening about your physical body, please understand that has no connection to spiritual, because that's not the discussion of this subject. This subject doesn't deal with it. That's not the core of the subject. In the first class, we will say you have a body. After that, we don't discuss that at all. It says body is a vehicle that you use, exactly like the car that you have, or the two-wheeler that you have, the cycle that you have, whatever vehicle that you have. A vehicle that you use to move from one place to another place. Similarly, it is. Now, when you come to my house, am I going to value you for you or for the car that you come in? Today, value is given to the car in which you come in. If a big car comes, means you are a big person. If a small car comes, means a small person. That shows how small our thinking is. You see, car doesn't define you. Similarly, in religion, body doesn't define you. Now, suddenly you can't discuss. The moment you keep that body aside, everything associated to the body is also removed. A lot of people ask, I am so old, is it okay for me to study Vedanta? I say, see, body is removed straight away. We are not talking about your body now, physical age. We are asking your mental age, not your physical age. I am, male or female. In religion, there is neither male nor female here. If at all we discuss about male, female, we discuss about your mind. Masculine and femininity is what is discussed. So therefore, we are not concerned about your body. Why, sir? Body is where you are housed. You are housed in this body for a period of time. And then what you do, sir? You move from this house to another house. Transfer. The transference is what we call as the death of the previous body and birth of the new body. Nevertheless, the person is same. It's like you shift your house from one place to another place. You shift from Basavangudi to Kempapura. What is that, sir? Same person. Of course, there is a difference of address. Anybody asks me, now, what is address I will give? Different address I will give. At that time, there is different address. This time, different address. This movement is known as Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. Again birth, again death. Again birth, again death. Doesn't make any difference. It says boredom. Don't you get bored with it? I think there's a question here we have. You said that the baby in womb has a lot of convictions on how to lead his or her future life. But immediately at the strike of prana during birth, it forgets everything. Please elaborate on this as to why this happens. Now, this is the proclamation given in the Upanishads. Whoever asked that quick question. This is, it's a statement given to us to explain why is it that we keep forgetting this every time. Why is it that we are not putting this effort? And it's a pacifying a person's thing. This is not for you, please. This is to pacify a student who is so passionate to get to realization. And he says, sir, why is it that people are not getting it? It is too obvious. For him, it is too obvious. Now, the student feels like that. That mission is to realize, now, what else you are doing in this life? Now, he is wondering, why is it that people are getting involved? Don't they get bored? Don't they get tired of this again and again and again? Why they are not realizing? For that, Upanishad gives an explanation. That's all. And remember, every answer given by the masters will vary depending on the student. It depends on the student. The student should consider that as a problem. For you, this is not a problem. See, you don't have the problem. How is it possible that I keep forgetting every day? Previous evening, you keep the alarm. Next day morning, you switch off the alarm and continue the sleep. Why? Why? Have you ever wondered? You take certain decisions, right? If somebody else takes a decision on your behalf, of course, very easy for us to say and dismiss and walk out and say, hey, it's not my mistake, man. Say, correct. Point is, you take a decision. Why is it that you keep forgetting your own decisions? What is the reason? Why do you forget it? You forget that because of your reason. Mistake is yours. Whereas the master who sees that you are taking too much of a burden on your mind, on your head, to pacify that fellow, he says, hey, that's how the nature itself is designed. So he says, in the womb itself, you have been stuck. Now, all of us will say what? That's why Upanishads are not taught to ordinary people. Because you read Upanishad, because nowadays it's all available in the YouTube. So you keep listening. It's not given to the students who are not ready, because Upanishadic teachings is given to the person who has that particular doubt. To you, there is no meaning. That's what I say usually. That's when this Kenopanishad master says, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. That alone is Brahman, not what you are worshipping. You will also say the same thing from tomorrow. All that you have to do is what? You should have a good memory. That's all. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Memorize it. You can tell that to every temple you can go from tomorrow and say what? That is Brahman, man, not what you are worshipping in the temple. That is Brahman, not what you are worshipping. That is Brahman, not. Now, you can never get that inspiration or growth out of this mantra. Why? Because first of all, you should worship that as Brahman. For you, that's not Brahman, first of all. First of all, you should consider that what you see in the temple as Brahman. What you see there is what? Highest clarification you have in mind is what? Is it marble or granite? Which stone this is? Is it a granite stone? People go to Brihadishwara temple, ask only that question. Is it granite stone? What is that? No, Sadaralli stone we have to say. What stone is this? Granite or Sadaralli? What you, so when you hear that is Brahman, this is not. It is not for you, please. This message is not for you. Therefore, in passing, I referred. The Upanishads proclaim that. All that. But don't ask for explanation for it because it is not connection to you. Because the connection comes only when you feel the problem. It's like you go to the doctor and ask him, why is it that you are not doing angio for me? You have coronavirus, right? You go and get admit yourself. Okay. Now you hear about the process of angio and say what? You just have to put a stent and then no problem, man. Another 15 years you can manage. Oh, then why are you not doing that to me? She asked, well, that's not your problem. See, you cannot ask that. This is not your issue. That issue is given to the student. The explanation is given to a student who is owning up that lack of conviction to reach the self. Why is it that I am not able to? Why is that I am not? Why is it? So that student is taking that to a point of absurdity. You should take it first. Okay. Then only this answer is for you. Only then this explanation is for you. When you are not feeling that, to say this is not, it has no meaning. See, it will not help you at all. It will just stand as a theoretical understanding of something. You will also go and tell somebody else. In a get together when you are with few people, this will help you. You know what the Upanishad says, and they will think you are a Upanishadic scholar. That's all. So this is not in passing. Just remember, there is something like this also been told. That's enough. More than that is not necessary for you. More than that is not needed for you. I am only explaining why it is not needed for you. Because that's not your problem. If it is your problem, then yes, explanation needs to be given to you. This is not your problem. Therefore, don't worry about it. In passing, I did mention that Prathama Prana strikes you. You forget. You tend to lose everything. Just take it. That's enough. More than that is not needed. Okay. So it says repeated birth, repeated death, repeated lying in mother's womb. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam is the reference to this theory of reincarnation. Right. Now the theory is not a belief, please. A lot of people take it as these people believe in reincarnation. Those people don't believe in reincarnation. No, it's not a belief. Remember, it's a theory. The belief is much. It's totally different. Theory is totally different. Law is totally different. There are three different domains. Now, don't mix up the two. It's a theory. This samsara, this terrestrial entanglement is unending and difficult to cross over. The principle is this. The principle is, philosophically, if you are an intellectual person, then the whole thing is different. If you are intellectual, there we say what? Any finite effort cannot bring about an infinite effect. All your efforts are finite. Why? Because the equipments are all finite. So with the finite equipments, you can put in only finite effort. Infinity cannot be produced, achieved through finite efforts. So therefore, realization is reaching to that infinity. How can you reach to that infinity without you putting effort properly? At the same time, you can't say, because of my effort, I will hit that infinity. That is also not possible. So it doesn't happen because of that, nor it happens in spite of that. You see, this is one angle. Another angle is the devotional dimension. Devotional aspect here is like this. Imagine the father and son, small boy, they are going for a expedition, mountain climbing. They climb the mountain, they go through the forest, and they come to a point where they have to cross from one cliff to another cliff. There is a hanging bridge. There's a bridge. Now the father tells the child, hey, we have to cross there. Okay, this hanging bridge is just, will be shaky and all that. Don't get scared. Hold my hand carefully. Okay, and we will walk across. Now, neither I can go first and ask you to come. You can't come alone. So let us go together. But be careful. Every step you have to be taking carefully. Okay. Yes. The child looks up to the father and says, Dad, isn't it better you hold my hand? Which is better? I hold your hand is also, it's the same thing. Technically speaking, it's the same thing. Whether I am holding your hand or you hold my hand, it's not. Now, you hold my hand. The child says what? I will feel more secured than me holding your hand. That is what 21 verses. Verse 21, Shankara says what? Oh Murari, you hold my hand. Don't ask me to hold your hand. That is not easy for me to do. This is much easier. Why? The father can have a better grip than the child. 1. 2. The child says what? I know for certain, even if anything happens, you will risk your life and save me. I don't have a doubt on that. 2. 3. Even if a little problem comes in between, I can get scared and leave the grip. But I know you will never leave that grip. Therefore, it is better you hold my hand. This is what Buddha says beautifully. He says, I was struggling and striving and struggling to reach to nirvana state. I was searching for the truth. With so much of struggle, I sought and went to the gates of the truth, only to realize the door is wide open. I tried this key, that key, so many keys I tried, so much of things and all that I tried. Finally, when I opened the door only, I realized it was never locked. Yes. With the same intensity, the truth is also seeking me. But unfortunately, I realized it only after reaching there. It's like that. God is also in search. In fact, that's what Ramayana does everything to reach to Sita. Very peculiar. The seeker should go put an effort to go and merge with the self. It's a Jivatma who should strive to reach to Paramatma. But Ramayana, exact opposite. Jivatma is not doing anything. Paramatma has to fight with Indra, fight with this one, and go and fall at the feet of this Sugriva, ask him to help him, please help me. And Sugriva says, I doubt your capacity. First to prove me your strength, then I will think of it. Okay, prove to him. So much of process he has to go through and fight with Ravana and then get Sita. What was Sita doing, sir? Simply sitting. Nothing she was doing. Now you don't start all that, please. Okay. I will also be sitting and Rama will come. He will come. But first thing he will ask you is what? Fire. There you will collapse. You see, you work. And then you reach a position where you say what? It's beyond all that. Yes. Verse 21. Continuing. Verse 22. Pratyacharpata virachita kanta. Punya punya vivarjita panta. Yogi yogani yojita chitto. Ramate balon mattavadeva. Pratyacharpata virachita panta. Punya punya vivarjita panta. Yogi yogani yojita chitto. Ramato balon mattavadeva. The sage who wears a shawl made of street rags, whose path transcends merit or demerit, whose mind is well united to yoga, revels just as a child, a madman. The verse is supposed to have been given by another student of Shankara by name Yogananda. We don't have much information about him also. This verse, very important line is there in this verse. Punya punya vivarchita panta. Get this line memorized. However difficult it may appear. It is not really. It's a very simple verse, line. Not the whole verse. Actually, I'm saying just that one line, get it memorized. I'll explain it in the next class. I'm not going to explain it today because it's, already we are to close, right? I'm not going to that explanation now because if you want to know what is spirituality, what is a spiritual path, sir? This is the definition of spiritual path. If anyone asks, what is spiritual path? Punya, apunya, vivarjita panta. Punya, merit. Apunya, demerit. Vivarjita, varjita, vivarjita. Well left, well departed from, completely departed from, different from. That's what it means. Vivarjita. Panta means path. Path, well left, transcending. That's what is taken as transcending. Path transcends merit or demerit. That's called spirituality. That's called a spiritual path. That's called religion. Explanation next class. Okay, first let's see the first line. Pratyacharpata virachita kanta. This charpata and kanta and all is the same thing. What he is wearing is the street rags. He takes the street rags and makes a shawl out of it. And he is wearing that. Now what does it mean, sir? I told you, these are all very symbolic. Don't take it literally, please. It's not a literally to be taken. It doesn't mean he is living in such poverty. It's not that he is a poor man. Poverty is not his state. Then what does it say? It is referring to living with minimum. That's the meaning of it. All that it means is you live with the minimum. One. Two. Another aspect to it is there are two angles to it. One dimension is live with minimum. What is living with minimum? I'll explain. Okay, that we can see. One. Second dimension is he develops an attitude. He has an attitude where he doesn't want to deprive anything to others. I don't want to enjoy something. I don't want to hold on to something depriving somebody. Because anything I grab, that means I'm depriving it to someone. So he lives a lifestyle. His lifestyle is such that there is no depriving anything to others. He doesn't want to. But don't take immediately, sir, every meal that you have in means there are 7 children in the world go starving. Therefore, what you should do? What you should do? Don't eat. All that the statistics will become what? The 7 will become 8 now. Nothing change will happen. Okay. All that will happen is what? Instead of them, it will be you starving. That's all. Now don't take these things to absurdities. We take these ideas to absurdities immediately and say everything you eat, somebody is deprived of something. That's not what is referred here. I don't want to deny something. Now, I don't know how to explain this to people. So I just give this only as an example. Okay. When I came to Bangalore, I was staying in a room. I just had, few books, the books that I got, studied in the academy and my notes. That's all I had with me. And about, one briefcase. That's all. One box with, few uniforms and, 2 track pants and, t-shirts. 2 or 3 I had. That's all. No formal pants and shirt and nothing I had with me. That's all with which I came to Bangalore. So just only, one carton box, which had my notes and books, and then one suitcase is all. So I was staying here in a room, comfortable actually. One of the person, who was known to me, was attending the classes, he was having a business. So the business had some difficulties and he was asking me for some help, and I just gave, why don't you try this, try this method, try that method, 2, 3 things I said, and fortunately it clicked, right? And it worked for him. That is because of him, nothing to do with me, it is because of that fellow's effort. It happened and he told me, sir, I am so excited that I have never seen a prophet like what I saw now. So I want to gift you something. I said, yeah, of course. Will you take? I said, life is only to take. Swamiji says, life is to give. I said, no, my life is to take only. I'm willing to take. So, let's go. So he took me to that, there's one Vivek's we have in Jayanagar, southern circle. Vivek's he took. So as soon as we went in, he asked, sir, you take one TV. There's no TV at your house. Keep one TV, I asked him, TV with remote. I said, yeah, correct, TV with remote. And I asked him, what is the budget? He said, sir, you decide, I don't want to give any budget to you and all that. I said, okay. This I'm saying in 99. Okay. This is 99, this is. So we saw that, and he is so happy to, take. I chose one TV, big one, but 21 inch or something. It's a big TV. I chose with the remote and asked him the channels and all that. And then I told that fellow to load in the auto. I told him, you pay the bill. I will wait in the auto. I will come with the auto. You come in your two-wheeler. He had a bike with him. So you come in your two-wheeler. I'll come in the auto. He said, okay. And of course, he didn't expect that, that much cost will happen. Because it was slightly beyond his budget. But he couldn't say anything to me. I could see that in his face, visible. It's too obvious, written all over the face. But then I couldn't say anything. I also couldn't say anything. I said, okay, get into the auto. We got into the auto. And I was new to Bangalore then, as recently shifted to that place. So I'm not very familiar with Bangalore roads and all that. Too much of one ways and two ways, suddenly, this, that, all. He said, I said, no. To my house, I know the route. So you don't have to worry. I will tell the auto driver how to go. So we got into the auto and that auto started moving. First left, second left. It is going off, not towards my house. It's going somewhere else. So he saw that from behind and he started honking, for us to recognize. So the auto driver told me, sir, that fellow is telling something from behind. He said, don't listen to him, just go. So we went. Straight, I took the auto to his house. And we removed the TV from there and took the TV inside and told his wife that your husband got this TV for you. And she was so excited, He said, wow. Then I told him, now you keep this TV. What are you going to do with your old TV? No. I said, put that TV in the auto. I'll take that to my house. That's called Ratya Charupata Virachita. What is it, sir? You don't deprive. The first time the man is gaining a profit, right? No doubt. He believes it is because of the suggestions that I gave. Now, that is his belief. But suggestion itself is not going to do anything. You see that? Now, that's what we call as, you don't deprive. Depriving means what? This is the meaning of deprive. Does it mean, you snatch from his hand and eat? I'm not snatching somebody's from hand and I'm eating. Therefore, now if I would have taken the TV in my house, neither his wife nor him nor his kids would have been worried actually. They were all so happy. In fact, his wife was more angry with me than him. Then I have to console her. Then I told her, don't think I'm so charitable. She was telling me, you watch, matches and all that. No. So you can watch. I said, see, the problem is when I watch match, I want to have pakodas also. I want to have tea. Now I take this TV and keep in my room. From where will I get pakodas? Now the TV is in your house. Under the pretense there's a cricket match, I will come. Sit, watch, order tea with you, pakodas with you. Now, is this sensible to do or that is sensible to do? Finally, she agreed, okay, take. And they said no. They were so unhappy, There's a beauty about it. They were so reluctant to give that old TV to me. That's the best part. More than their excitement that they got a new TV, the reluctance that is the best part in their, there. You enjoy that. This is a pleasure in life. What's that? Don't deprive. That is called a spiritual lifestyle. What's a spiritual lifestyle, sir? You don't deprive something to somebody. Then what do you take in, sir? The street rags are more than enough. The throwaway things, they do. What is the rejects? That's what Mark Twain says. All the nakedness of the world can be clad with the trimmings of the wings. All the nakedness of the world can be clad with the trimmings of the wings. All that's extra you have, trim those things. Clad the whole world is. Beautiful statement of his. This man lives that. He doesn't want to. He lives with the minimum. Now, minimum don't immediately take as, okay, all second hand only you got to have. That's not what is referred, please. Okay. Now, each one of us have got our own position. You have a position in life. You have a position in this world. You got to live up to that. In that you have to. Now, this you can't understand without Shakespeare. This, in his statements, this Polonius advice, he says, costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, rich, not gaudy. Let your habits be what's habit, the purchasing, all that you have. Let your lifestyle be what? As your purse can buy. Now, today, we have so much of panic with this corona everywhere. Why this panic? Morning I'm seeing where that some statistics and all is there. What people are able to save. How people started living their life on anticipated income, not even with old income. Anticipate that much of income will come to me in future. Based on that, I spend today. Then what? Every month you have to pay the bills. Now pressure. They don't know what to do. Cars on hire purchase, loans, house on loan, everything on loan. Everything on installment. Now what? You can't do away with it, nor can you pay. You're stuck. Now what to do? Why this situation, sir? What made us to reach that sort of situation is this problem of inability to manage the minimum. Minimum doesn't mean you got to scrounge and live, please. That's not what is meant. You live to your level. In that, there is a maximum minimum. You see, high-end products, in that maximum minima is there. Middle products, there is maximum minima is there. There are things to this, there are things. In that you live. My equation is this. If you are earning 100 rupees, let your lifestyle be for 75. If you were to be earning only 75 rupees, how you live? Live like that. Now you can calculate whatever be it. Now what are we doing, sir? Exact opposite. You earn 100 rupees, your lifestyle is 120 rupees. And then you have to suffer. No. Neither live with a lifestyle of 100. No. You earn 100, you live 75. You earn 200, live 150. Keep that proportion. That's a sensible way of living life. Now this man, a spiritual man, lives a sensible lifestyle. This is a practical lesson we get from Bhajagovindam. You see, more than a lot of philosophy is there in Bhajagovindam. Along with that, we also get certain practical instructions on how to live life. Of course, he gives more in the next coming verses, in fact, in terms of material, how you deal with it and all. But right now, he gives this one facet. How do you decide that, sir? Decide on this dimension of live with minimum. Then comes the philosophical explanation of what is the spiritual path. Now, he leads a path which is neither punya or apunya. We'll see that in the next class.